Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dharma Wisdom Talks channel, a space where we come together to explore the valuable lessons of Buddhism, reflect on life, and discover the path to lasting happiness. Today, I want to start this video with a profound quote that I believe will touch the heart of each one of us. Just as stars need darkness to appear, happiness needs enough pain to be formed. Perhaps you're wondering, why is pain necessary for happiness? Why, when we all long for a life full of peace, abundance, and happiness, must we face difficulties, challenges, and sometimes even failure? The simple answer is this: it is these difficulties that help us grow, these challenges that shape our soul, and these experiences that reveal the true value of happiness. Just like stars in the night sky, they can only shine after overcoming the darkness. Our happiness can only truly shine after the setbacks and pain that life brings. You may feel tired, disappointed, or even tempted to give up during tough times. But remember, effort is the only thing you can control, and the meaning of that effort is far more important than the final result. Take a moment in this video to reflect with me on this profound truth. While we can't control everything in life, the journey we take to overcome challenges is the greatest reward of all. Join me as we explore this journey together. Even if tomorrow is the end of the world, today we must smile. Because strength is not a choice, but the only path. This quote reflects a positive and peaceful attitude towards challenges and uncertainty about the future. Smile even if tomorrow is the end of the world. This statement embodies a mindset of resilience and peace in the face of difficulties and the unknown. It connects with key principles in Buddhism such as mindfulness and equanimity. Mindfulness, in Buddhism, living in the present moment, is one way to reduce suffering. Smiling in the face of danger or uncertainty about tomorrow reflects the practice of mindfulness, meaning we do not allow our minds to be consumed by worries about the future, but instead live fully in the present moment. Impermanence, one of Buddhism's core teachings, is impermanence, the idea that everything changes and nothing lasts forever. When we understand that everything could come to an end, we no longer cling to fleeting things. Smiling through hardship is an understanding of impermanence and living with detachment. Strength is not a choice, but the only path. This part introduces an insightful argument about the concept of strength and resilience in life. Being strong in difficult circumstances is not always an easy choice, but it is the only way to overcome challenges and grow. Resilience, in life, resilience is not just the ability to endure but the ability to recover and keep moving forward after every failure. According to Buddhism, this resilience is built upon understanding impermanence, suffering, and how to face the upheavals in life. When we have a clear view of life's true nature, we realize that only resilience can help us grow. The beauty of struggles, difficulties are not bad, they are opportunities for us to practice patience and develop wisdom. The story of the Buddha can be a perfect example. He faced many trials and sufferings before reaching enlightenment. Every step on his path was not an easy choice but a great challenge he had to overcome. Concrete example story. The story of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, known for his philosophy of peace and nonviolence, faced immense hardships and challenges throughout his life. Despite facing pressure, crises, and even life-threatening situations, he continued to smile and remain steadfast in his chosen path. He is a clear example of the idea that strength is not a choice, but the only path. Gandhi not only taught us how to face suffering but also how to turn adversity into an opportunity for inner growth. The story of the Buddha, after leaving his palace and undergoing various trials in his ascetic life, the Buddha faced the ultimate challenge of death, starvation, and loneliness. Although life at that time could be viewed as an end-of-the-world scenario with extremely harsh trials, he smiled, continued his journey, and found the path to liberation for himself and all beings. The stories of Gandhi, the Buddha, and others who have overcome adversity are not rare. They teach us that strength is not a choice, but the only way to face life. When we cannot change our circumstances, we can change how we face those circumstances. And in any situation, smiling and moving forward will help us find peace and serenity in our hearts. Remember, even if tomorrow is the end of the world, today we can still smile because strength is not a choice, it is the only path that helps us overcome all the challenges life presents. Fall as many times as you need to, but rise just as many times. When you're young, never give up easily. This quote reflects a powerful philosophy of resilience and the determination to never give up. It's a theme that closely aligns with Buddhist values, especially concerning how to face suffering and overcome challenges. Fall as many times as you need to, rise just as many times. This statement emphasizes the strength of perseverance, the ability to recover, and the capacity to learn from failure. In Buddhism, this is a familiar theme, which can be linked to concepts such as suffering, learning from mistakes, and equanimity. Suffering and the path to liberation. According to Buddhism, suffering is an inseparable part of life. However, suffering is not the end, but a part of the process of enlightenment and growth. Each time we fall or fail in life, it's an opportunity to learn, reflect, and mature. Resistance and letting go. An important factor in getting up after each fall is the ability to let go, letting go of regrets, letting go of fear, and not allowing ourselves to be swept up by negative emotions. The Buddha taught that failure is not the end, but a step on the path to enlightenment. Each fall is a step toward understanding and awakening. When you're young, never give up easily. This phrase is full of encouragement and motivates young people to stay strong in their belief in themselves and in life. It links to the philosophy of inner strength, passion, and determination in the pursuit of success and happiness. The power of will. In Buddhism, strong will and continuous effort are keys to overcoming any difficulty. The Buddha taught that the path to enlightenment is never easy, but if we persist and never give up, we will overcome all obstacles. Similarly, young people should not easily give up when facing challenges, but instead see these challenges as opportunities for growth. The ability to overcome yourself. Youth is not just about age, it's about energy, passion, and determination. Every failure is an opportunity to recognize our limits and overcome them. Buddhism also emphasizes the importance of overcoming the self, that is, self-imposed limitations caused by fear or discouragement. The greater the challenge, the greater the opportunity for self-development. Concrete example stories. The story of Thomas Edison, one of the most notable examples of never giving up, is the story of Thomas Edison. He experimented thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure did not discourage him. Instead, he saw each one as a step closer to success. When asked about his failures, Edison responded, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." The story of Michael Jordan. Another example is Michael Jordan, widely considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time. In his career, Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team and faced numerous failures. However, he never gave up on his dream and eventually became a legend in the sport. His famous quote is, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. But that's why I succeed." The story of the Buddha. The Buddha is also a prime example. Before attaining enlightenment, he underwent many trials and sufferings, from living in a luxurious palace to experiencing extreme asceticism. He stumbled, faced failure, but never gave up. It was these failures that led him to realize the true path to liberation. The quote, "Fall as many times as you need to, rise just as many times," is not just a powerful encouragement for the young, but also a deep life philosophy affirmed by Buddhism. Difficulties and failure are not to be feared but are an essential part of the journey to maturity. The important thing is to persevere, never give up, and always learn from each fall to become stronger. The ability to learn from failure. Every fall is not the end, but an opportunity to reflect on ourselves, draw lessons, and grow. This is what the Buddha and other enlightened beings have taught us. Each fall is an opportunity for understanding and growth. Inner strength. Being strong is not about never failing, but about knowing how to rise after each fall and continue on the path we've chosen. No matter how many times we fall, remember that true strength comes from not giving up. And while we're still young, we should never give up easily. Be persistent, learn from every failure, and keep moving forward. Success does not come from avoiding failure, but from rising each time we fall. It's okay to be afraid, as long as you don't give up. It's okay to feel sorrow, as long as you don't collapse. Sit in the darkness, cry your tears dry, but never forget to look up at the sky filled with countless stars. This is a powerful message about resilience, courage, and the ability to perceive life positively, even when faced with suffering and challenges. It aligns perfectly with Buddhist values, particularly in dealing with suffering, maintaining inner peace, and finding light in the darkness. It's okay to be afraid, as long as you don't give up. This statement highlights that fear is a natural part of life. However, the important thing is not to let fear control our actions or cause us to abandon our dreams and goals. In Buddhism, fear can be seen as part of attachment, clinging to self, and ignorance, not understanding the true nature of things and life. Fear and awakening. Buddhism teaches that fear arises from ignorance and attachment to impermanent things. When we realize that everything is transient, fear no longer holds power over us. Practicing mindfulness and awareness helps us face fear without letting it take control of our lives. We can feel afraid, but we don't have to be consumed by it. Instead, we can stand strong during difficult moments. We are the architects of our future, despite fear. The key is not to let it make us give up. When facing difficulties, rather than surrendering, we can rely on our faith and inner strength to push forward. This is the inner strength that Buddhism emphasizes. When we realize we have the power to change and take control of our lives. It's okay to feel sorrow, as long as you don't collapse. Sorrow is a very human emotion and an inevitable part of life. However, this saying emphasizes that while we may feel sorrow, the crucial thing is not to let it overwhelm us and make us crumble. We need to learn how to face sorrow with equanimity and find ways to recover. Suffering is part of life. In Buddhism, suffering is an inescapable part of life. Everyone goes through sorrow, loss, or challenges, but what matters is not letting these negative emotions take over. Buddhism teaches us to face suffering gently, accepting it as a part of life but not letting it dictate how we live. The key is letting go and practicing patience. Liberation from sorrow. Sorrow is not a permanent state, and we can learn to transform sadness into strength. One of the essential lessons in Buddhism is to remain still in the face of emotions, not letting negative feelings disturb our peace of mind and inner tranquility. Sit in the darkness, cry your tears dry, but never forget to look up at the sky filled with countless stars. This statement encourages us, in times of darkness and despair, to remember that a beautiful world awaits us, that light always comes after the night. It carries a message very much in tune with the Buddhist principle of impermanence and liberation. Impermanence and hope. Every hardship will eventually pass, which reflects the Buddhist principle of impermanence. When facing the darkness, it's important to remember that everything is changeable. The night will pass, and the dawn will come. The stars in the sky represent hope, goodness, and the awareness that awaits us when we find the right path. Finding light in the darkness, in our darkest moments. Sometimes it's in these very times of sorrow that we can find light. Meditation and mindfulness can help us see the good even in the toughest circumstances. When we focus on the positive, on the opportunities to learn and grow from suffering, we will find the shining sky. Concrete example stories. The story of Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist, survived the Nazi concentration camps during World War II. Despite experiencing unimaginable suffering and sorrow, he found meaning in life and recorded his thoughts in his famous book Man's Search for Meaning. In it, he wrote that even in the darkest circumstances, humans can find reasons to live and hope. This is a testament to the saying, "Sit in the darkness, cry your tears dry, but never forget to look up at the sky filled with countless stars." The story of the Buddha. Before attaining enlightenment, the Buddha faced immense suffering and challenges. He gave up a life of luxury in the palace, confronted death, and resisted temptations. Yet, rather than giving up or resigning, he patiently continued his search for the path to liberation. He found light in the darkness of life's suffering and became a guide for those seeking liberation. This quote encourages us, in times of hardship and sorrow, to remember that we can live strongly, resiliently, and never give up. No matter how tough things get, always remember that light exists, and it's never too late to find it. Suffering is not the end, but a part of the journey from which we can learn and grow. Remember, in the darkest moments, we can find an endless source of strength within ourselves. Every fall is an opportunity to rise again and look ahead, where light and hope are waiting. Failure is not scary, giving up is. Contempt is not scary, losing all willpower is the true end. This is a powerful message about the strength of persistence and resilience in life. It emphasizes that failure and contempt are not the things to fear. What's truly dangerous is giving up and losing all willpower. This theme aligns closely with Buddhist values about perseverance, resilience, and the power of inner resolve. Failure is not scary, giving up is. Failure is an inevitable part of every person's journey. In Buddhism, suffering and failure are not seen as negative but as parts of the process of awakening and growth. The important thing is not how many times we fail, but what we learn from each failure and whether we're willing to rise again. Suffering and failure as opportunities for growth. Buddhism teaches that everything is impermanent, and failure is no different. Failure is not a final end, but an opportunity to learn and improve ourselves. We can view failure as a precious lesson that helps us mature and develop wisdom. Resilient willpower. When facing failure, the key is not to let it defeat us. According to the Buddha, persistence and continuous effort are the paths to liberation. Each failure is a step closer to success if we can stand up and keep striving. How to face failure. One way to deal with failure is through meditation and mindfulness. When we practice mindfulness, we can view failure calmly, without getting caught in negative emotions. Instead, we can use failure as an opportunity for self-awareness and continue on our journey. Contempt is not scary, losing all willpower is the true end. Contempt and criticism from others are not what should bring us down. However, losing all willpower and spirit is what is truly dangerous and can lead us to a state of mental death. Contempt and criticism are normal. In life, it's inevitable to encounter contempt and criticism from others. However, Buddhism teaches that not clinging to others' judgments helps us maintain peace of mind. Criticism and contempt can only hurt us if we allow our minds to be affected by them. On the other hand, if we maintain a strong attitude and don't let negative words influence us, we won't be shaken. Contempt and self-respect. A key lesson in Buddhism is to maintain self-respect and humility. Contempt from others may harm our self-esteem, but if we understand that everyone has their own path and we don't need to worry about others' evaluations, we won't be knocked down. Losing willpower is the true end. The real danger is not being ridiculed by others, but when we lose faith in ourselves and no longer have the will to continue. This is what Buddhism emphasizes. If we lose faith in our abilities and abandon the path to awakening, that is the true end. Buddhism teaches that having a steadfast mind and a resilient will is essential to overcoming all obstacles and suffering. Concrete example stories. The story of Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein is a prime example of not letting failure and contempt deter him. As a child, Einstein was considered slow and struggled with his studies. But instead of giving up, he persevered and eventually became one of the greatest scientists of all time. His story proves that contempt or failure is not the end. What's important is not losing willpower and continuing to pursue one's passion. The story of Nekvajis Sik, a man born without arms and legs, overcame every barrier and became a motivational speaker. Despite facing ridicule and unimaginable challenges, he never gave up. Nick's story is a living testament that while contempt can hurt, it is only when we lose our willpower that we truly fail. The story of the Buddha, when he was still Prince Siddhartha, faced contempt from society, especially when he abandoned his royal life to seek the path of awakening. He did not let criticism or disdain from others weaken his resolve but remained committed to his spiritual path. Ultimately, he attained enlightenment and became a guide for countless beings seeking to end their suffering. Failure and contempt are not what should scare us. It's when we lose our willpower and give up on our dreams that we face the real danger. Every time we fall, it is an opportunity to rise again and continue our journey. What matters is not letting external factors or criticism shake our resolve. We need to maintain faith in ourselves and cultivate resilience in our hearts. Resilience is the only path. Every failure is a step forward on the path of growth. Never let contempt or negative words break your spirit. Keep moving forward, rise up, and believe that every difficulty can be overcome if you maintain your willpower. Freedom from within. Buddhism teaches that true freedom comes not from external circumstances, but from liberation within the mind. When we refuse to let our willpower and spirit be defeated, we will find peace and freedom within ourselves. Remember, failure is not scary, but giving up is. Contempt does not make us weak, but losing our willpower is the true end. Be resilient, never give up, and always believe that the road ahead is filled with new opportunities. After Sunday always comes Monday, and after every ending, there is a new beginning. No matter how beautiful yesterday was, we cannot go back to it. No matter how difficult tomorrow may be, we must have the courage to move forward. This is a deeply profound message about moving forward and never stopping. It emphasizes that, regardless of whether the past was beautiful or full of hardships, we cannot go back to change it. What's important is how we face the present and the future. No matter how challenging it may be, we must have the courage to keep moving forward. This is a great theme to create a video with an inspiring message, especially when you want to share values such as resilience, calmness in the face of challenges, and acceptance of life's impermanence. After Sunday always comes Monday. After every ending, there is a new beginning. This phrase serves as a reminder that endings are inevitable, but they are not something sad or negative. In fact, every ending opens up the possibility for a new beginning. This is a concept that aligns closely with Buddhist values, especially the idea of impermanence, anicca, in which everything changes, and nothing lasts forever. Impermanence, anicca, and new beginnings. Buddhism teaches that everything changes, and this includes the difficult times in life. Yesterday may have ended with ups and downs, but today and tomorrow bring new opportunities. There is no ending without a new beginning. Each morning we wake up is an opportunity to start anew, to refresh ourselves, and to continue on the path to enlightenment. Accepting impermanence. When we understand that change is unavoidable, we can approach every ending with peace and without suffering. Instead of seeing an ending as a failure, we can view it as a stepping stone, an opportunity for renewal and a fresh start. No matter how beautiful yesterday was, we cannot go back to it. This phrase reminds us that no matter how wonderful the past was, it is gone and cannot be returned to. This encourages us to live in the present and not let the past dominate our lives. Buddhism also has an important principle, not clinging to the past, as it only causes us suffering and takes away our freedom. Accepting the past. Buddhism teaches that the past is a part of us, but we should not cling to it. The important thing is how we learn from the past but not let it become a burden. When we don't let the past hold us back, we can live fully in the present moment. Accepting pain and what has passed. The past may bring beautiful memories, but it can also be full of pain and regret. Buddhism advises us to let go of suffering from what has passed. This doesn't mean denying the past, but accepting it as part of our journey and continuing to move forward. Living fully in the present. One of the most important lessons in Buddhism is mindfulness, living fully in each present moment. When we are not dominated by the past, we can enjoy life and find peace right in the present. No matter how difficult tomorrow may be, we must have the courage to move forward. This is a powerful encouragement to face difficulties and challenges in the future. Although tomorrow may bring obstacles and difficulties, we must have the courage to walk forward and face them. This reflects one of the core values in Buddhism: resilience and courage. Resilience and the unyielding spirit. Buddhism emphasizes perseverance in the practice and in life. Difficulties and challenges are inseparable parts of life, but instead of avoiding them, we can learn to confront and overcome them. Every challenge is an opportunity to develop wisdom and strength. Courage in the face of difficulty. Courage is not about being fearless, but about overcoming fear. The Buddha also taught that suffering is part of life, and we cannot avoid it. However, if we can face suffering and accept it, we will find liberation and peace. No matter how difficult tomorrow is, we can always find the strength within ourselves to keep moving forward. Specific examples. Nelson Mandela's story. Nelson Mandela, who spent over 27 years in prison, did not allow the past or the hardships of imprisonment to stop him. When he was freed, he did not live in hatred, but continued to fight for peace and justice. He learned to accept the past, not look back at what had happened, and moved forward on the path of reconciliation for South Africa. Steve Jobs' story. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, was once fired from the company he founded. However, instead of stopping or living in the past, he continued to pursue his passion and created revolutionary products. Eventually, he returned to Apple and transformed the company into a global icon. His story is a testament to never giving up, no matter how tough the challenges. Conclusion. This saying encourages us to embrace change, let go of the past, and face the future with courage, no matter the challenges it may bring. Life is not always easy, but it is in these difficulties that we can find strength and growth. Each new day is an opportunity to start over, to live fully, and to courageously walk down our path. Acceptance and the journey forward. We cannot change the past, but we can choose to live in the present and face the future. Every ending is a new beginning, and every challenge is an opportunity for growth. For others, it may be a storm with thunder and lightning, but for us, it is warm sunshine. This statement reflects the difference in how each person faces life. While others may perceive a situation as a storm with thunder and lightning representing difficulty, challenge, and suffering for those with a peaceful mind, the same situation may just be an opportunity to cultivate patience and resilience. Mindfulness and calmness. Buddhism teaches that by practicing mindfulness and awareness, we can avoid being swept up by negative emotions, no matter how difficult the situation may be. For those who practice meditation and maintain inner peace, every challenge becomes an opportunity to develop wisdom and patience. No matter the storm outside, our hearts can still remain at peace. Impermanence. Anicca. One of the key principles in Buddhism is impermanence, that everything changes. Therefore, whether today is full of stormy weather or thunder, it is only a temporary phase. Difficulties will pass, and something new will arise. When we understand and accept the principle of impermanence, we can face challenges without becoming overwhelmed by them. Stay calm. No matter how big the challenge, it will pass. This piece of advice emphasizes the importance of remaining calm and not being shaken by life's biggest challenges. This aligns with the Buddhist view of an undisturbed mind and serenity in the face of suffering. Inner peace. Buddhism teaches that our mind is the source of all happiness and suffering. If our minds are not affected by external circumstances, we can live peacefully, even when faced with adversity. The Buddha once said, "We are what we think." With our minds, we create our world. If we can maintain a calm mind, no matter the challenges, we will find peace even in the midst of the storm. Suffering is a part of life. Buddhism does not deny the existence of suffering in life, but it teaches that suffering only persists when we cling to it and do not let it go. If we can face suffering without allowing it to disturb our souls, it will not harm us. When we realize that everything will pass, no matter how big the problem is, we will feel lighter and more at peace. The importance of patience. In Buddhism, patience is regarded as a very important virtue. Patience is not about enduring passively, but about persevering and calmly facing challenges without being overwhelmed. This statement encourages us to cultivate this quality so that we can face every storm without losing our inner peace. Examples illustrating the concept. The story of the Buddha. One of the most famous stories in Buddhist scriptures is when the Buddha was targeted and harassed by someone named Devdatta. However, the Buddha did not respond with anger to the attacks. He simply smiled and continued teaching, reminding everyone that nothing in this world is permanent, including hatred and challenges. The Buddha maintained a calm and compassionate mindset before all adversity, which helped him overcome every obstacle. The story of Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychologist and author of the famous book Man's Search for Meaning, endured years of suffering in Nazi concentration camps. Despite being in extreme suffering, he never lost his mind and always found meaning in life, even in the smallest things. His story is a clear example of remaining calm and not letting external circumstances determine our happiness. The story of Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi, a famous leader of India's independence movement, faced invasion, opposition, and hostility from powerful forces. Yet, he always maintained a calm and peaceful demeanor. Gandhi never engaged in violent wars but instead sought non-violent methods to fight for independence. His calmness and determination in the struggle for India's freedom left a deep mark in history. This saying emphasizes the importance of staying calm and not being shaken by life's storms. While external circumstances may be thunder and lightning, we can choose to view them as warm sunshine if we maintain inner peace. True peace does not come from the outside world but from within ourselves. The unshaken mind. When we understand that all challenges, difficulties, and significant events in life are impermanent, we will no longer fear or worry about them. We will see each situation with a calm attitude, and from there, find the inner strength to keep moving forward. Compassion and equanimity. Maintaining a calm mind not only helps us overcome difficulties but also allows us to maintain compassion and understanding towards others, even when they act negatively. When we remain undisturbed, we can help others stay calm during their own challenges. This message encourages perseverance and continuous effort, even when we know there are limits in life that we may not be able to overcome immediately. However, the important thing is not to give up but to continue striving, looking for ways to overcome obstacles and challenges. The grass cannot touch the clouds, but that does not stop it from growing up toward the sunday. This saying is a deep metaphor about perseverance and unceasing effort. The grass, no matter how hard it tries, cannot reach the clouds, but that does not mean it will stop growing straight up toward the sun. This image symbolizes people with resilient spirits who, despite facing difficulties or not immediately achieving their goals, never give up. Resilience in the journey. Buddhism teaches that on the path of practice, there are things we cannot change immediately, such as ignorance, avidya, or karmic consequences. However, the important thing is to persist, even knowing that the results may not be visible in the present. We continue to strive because the journey of self-transformation is always long and difficult, but it is worth it. Lessons from nature. The grass, even though it cannot touch the clouds, still keeps growing upwards. This mirrors the lives of people practicing meditation or following the Buddhist path. They may not immediately achieve their desired results, but every step, no matter how small, is still a great accomplishment. The challenges and difficulties in life are like the clouds, but like the grass, we must continue to grow and find ways to overcome them. There are limits that ordinary people cannot surpass, but that does not mean we should stop trying. This statement highlights an important philosophy in Buddhism, the recognition of limits and the continuous effort to transcend them. While we may have certain limitations, whether physical, intellectual, or spiritual, that does not mean we cannot strive for something better in the future. These limitations may be challenges, but they are not reasons to quit. Accepting limits, but not giving up. In Buddhism, one of the important lessons is to accept the reality of our limitations in life, but not to stop there. Impermanence, anicca, is the principle that helps us understand that all things have limits and are constantly changing. However, every individual can change and grow through different stages of life. Through continuous effort, one can overcome limits that once seemed insurmountable. The spirit of resilience in hardship. Buddhism also teaches that there are unavoidable hardships and challenges in life, but if we do not put in the effort and try to change, life will remain stagnant. For example, in daily life, we may face great challenges such as loss, illness, or mental struggles. It is precisely during these moments that we must face them with courage and strive to overcome them. The journey to enlightenment is a continuous process. The path of learning and enlightenment in Buddhism is long, and it is not something that can be achieved overnight. Sometimes, overcoming temptations, karmic consequences, or the difficulties in life can make us feel helpless. But the important thing is to never give up. Every time we stumble, every time we fail, it is an opportunity to learn and rise again. Examples to illustrate the point. The story of Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the electric light bulb, had to endure thousands of failures before succeeding. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Despite facing constant failure, he never gave up but kept experimenting and eventually found the solution. Edison is an exemplary figure of not letting the limits of failure stop him, continuing to pursue his dream with perseverance. The story of Helen Keller, who was both blind and deaf, overcame physical limitations to become a renowned writer and social activist. She proved that limitations are not a reason to stop, but a motivation to rise and achieve what seemed impossible. Helen Keller is a shining example of resilience and unyielding effort. The story of J.K. Rowling, before becoming the author of the Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling faced countless challenges, from being rejected by numerous publishers to difficulties in her personal life. Despite this, she did not give up on her dream of writing. Her story is a testament to not letting failures define you and continuing to persevere no matter how many limits you face. This saying encourages us to never give up, even when we face limitations and challenges that seem insurmountable. Just like the grass cannot touch the clouds, we may not achieve everything we desire immediately, but unceasing effort will bring us closer to our goals. Limits are not barriers, limits only exist when we accept them as permanent barriers. However, if we see limits as opportunities to overcome and grow, they will no longer be obstacles. In fact, it is through unrelenting effort that we discover our hidden strengths. Lessons from the grass, like the grass that grows even though it knows it cannot reach the clouds, we too should keep striving, knowing that not everything we desire can be achieved immediately. But what matters is the effort, continuing, and never giving up. Just as stars need enough darkness to appear, happiness also needs enough pain to form. Keep trying even when the rewards aren't immediate. The meaning of effort is always more important than the result. This is a profound life philosophy, emphasizing the importance of effort and the process rather than just focusing on the final outcome. It also reminds us that everything in life comes at a cost, and often, pain and challenges are the factors that lead to the emergence of happiness and success. Just like stars need darkness to shine, life too requires challenges to help us grow and move toward happiness. Just as stars need enough darkness to appear, happiness also needs enough pain to form. This is a beautiful metaphor about the combination of suffering and happiness in life. In this context, darkness is not something negative but represents the challenges, difficulties, or phases in life when we feel exhausted or hopeless. It is precisely during these moments that true happiness can form, just as stars can only shine in the darkness of the night sky. Suffering is part of life. In Buddhism, suffering is not something to avoid but a part of reality. The Buddha taught that suffering, dukkha, is one of the Four Noble Truths. However, he also taught that suffering is not permanent and can be overcome if we know how to recognize and act appropriately. Suffering helps us gain deeper insight into life, and through it, we can achieve true happiness. Challenges are opportunities for growth. Just as we face darkness, each difficulty and challenge in life is an opportunity for us to develop, to cultivate patience, persistence, and resilience. When we overcome these challenges, happiness does not just come from the result, but from the process of overcoming them. Keep trying even when the rewards aren't immediate. This is a piece of advice about perseverance and acceptance of reality, that even if we do not see the desired results for a long time, we must keep trying. The rewards may not come immediately, but the process of striving will always be valuable and will guide us toward our goals. Faith in the process. In Buddhism, the path to enlightenment is a long and arduous journey, and the result does not always come immediately. However, every step on this path is valuable. Even if we do not see the result right away, the effort and perseverance in each moment will bring profound value and ultimately lead to the goal. Selfless effort. What is important is not to focus solely on the result or reward. Just as in the practice of Buddhism, happiness is not a destination but a process of daily practice and cultivation. In fact, often, the result will not be rewarded immediately, but how we live during the process is the most important thing. The meaning of effort is always more important than the result. This statement emphasizes that, in life, the process and effort are often far more important than the final result. The perseverance and lessons learned in the process of striving are what create lasting value in life, rather than a result that may come and go quickly. The value of practice. In Buddhism, right effort, virya, is one of the key factors in attaining enlightenment. However, the result does not always come immediately, but every step taken on the path of practice has value. Sometimes, it is in the moments of failure and setbacks that we learn valuable lessons about patience, humility, and compassion. Learning from the process, the final result may not always align with our expectations, but what we learn in the process is what fosters growth. If we only focus on the outcome, we may miss the true meaning of the effort. When we truly live in each moment and give our best effort, happiness does not only come from the result but from the journey we undertake. Examples to illustrate the point. The story of pearls. Pearls are formed inside oysters when a grain of sand enters and irritates the oyster. This process takes many years, but it is the pain caused by the grain of sand that creates the perfect beauty of the pearl. This is a vivid image showing that happiness and success also require going through difficulty and challenges. The story of Michelangelo. Michelangelo, one of the greatest artists in history, faced many challenges throughout his career. Before becoming a legend with the painting The Creation of Adam and the Statue of David, he encountered many failures. However, he kept pushing forward, persisting with his work, and his great artistic works stand as proof of the value of continuous effort. The story of Buddhist practitioners. In Buddhism, practitioners often endure many years of asceticism and diligent practice. Even though they may not see immediate results, over time, they realize that it is through perseverance and the process of practice that they grow and attain peace and enlightenment. The result is not the goal, rather, the process of learning and practicing is what matters most. This quote encourages us to continue striving and to accept hardships as part of life. Just as stars need darkness to shine, happiness needs challenges to form. It is through the process of facing challenges and relentlessly pushing forward that we can truly find happiness. The process is more important than the result. We cannot control the outcome, but we can control our efforts and mindset during the journey. In Buddhism, it is through practice, effort, and perseverance that we reach enlightenment and inner peace. Happiness comes from the journey. Don't just focus on the end goal, enjoy every step of the journey. It is the process of striving that brings us true joy and happiness. We have just journeyed together through effort, perseverance, and growth amidst life's challenges. Once again, I want to remind you of a phrase that resonates deeply with me: the meaning of effort is always more important than the result. Imagine you are standing before a long, challenging, and rugged path. You may not yet see the destination, and the result you desire may still seem distant. But if you keep moving forward, never giving up, no matter how many failures you face, you will realize one thing: every step, every effort, no matter how small, will help you grow. In life, things don't always go the way we expect. Sometimes, we must endure pain, disappointment, and feelings of hopelessness. But it is precisely these moments that are opportunities for us to learn and grow. Just as the grass may never reach the clouds, but continuously strives in the darkness to seek the light, so too, every challenge you face is an opportunity for you to become the best version of yourself. In Buddhism, one of the core principles is right effort. We don't strive for results, we strive for the action in the present moment. Even if the outcome is not as expected, it is through persistent effort that we find inner peace and true happiness. So, even if there are difficulties or pain right now, never give up. Never forget that every step, whether small or large, is creating a positive change within you. And one day, you will realize that it was those challenges that helped you grow, that helped you achieve true happiness, not because of the results, but because of the process you went through. Remember, being strong is not a choice, but the only path. We may stumble many times, but every time we rise, we become stronger. And in this way, you will reach new horizons, full of hope and happiness. Thank you for watching today's video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Dharma Wisdom Talks channel to share and explore more profound lessons about life and Buddhist wisdom. I wish you all the best in maintaining your faith, perseverance on your path, and finding happiness in every step you take.